Hey guys, welcome to the next video lesson in our Novice Biotech Investing track, Biotech Investing Basics. In this one, we're going to be going over quick and dirty due diligence. So let's jump right into the table of contents to see what we're going to be going over. We're going to be going through company discovery, so what kind of companies to target, where to find them. Catalyst analysis, so how to actually analyze the catalyst and where to find that data and what to look for. Then finally, a investment thesis. So putting it all together into an actionable plan, and throughout the slides we're going to be going through an example as well. So let's get started with discovery. So company discovery, what kind of company to target and research, right? There's all these different companies. Some keys to look for and to take into account when you're looking at the various companies are the company size, the catalyst landscape, the indication disease, and the expected volatility. And so some tools to use for this. At ampbioresearch.com, here we have a searchable calendar for upcoming events, and we also display our AMP volatility score, which is very useful. I'm sure you may have heard of biopharmcatalyst.com, which is a useful tool for finding upcoming events as well. And then finviz.com or a comparable are great for finding company market cap, stock charts, and other just basic company information. So now if we take those variables and we actually go through, this is what we look for here, but again, do whatever works best for you and experiment and see where your niche is. But we generally recommend a company size larger than 100 million market cap and smaller than 4 billion, because companies under 100 million in our view are just too risky, and anything larger than 4 billion usually is too complicated to analyze in a short period of time. There's probably products on the market, so we just like to stick within that range for this quick and dirty due diligence. In terms of the catalyst, we like to find a company that has an upcoming catalyst event, usually within a quarter or so. Otherwise they get caught in what we call catalyst droughts, and they sort of move with the market and the other factors that affect the market besides the catalyst event, which is what we're looking to analyze here. In terms of indication and disease, you want to find either a disease that interests you because it will be more interesting to do this analysis, or something that you feel is a large market because that's just generally good for products overall. And then when we look at volatility, we want to have enough volatility to present an opportunity. So we don't want to spend all this time analyzing something that the market really isn't giving much value to anyways. We want there to be an opportunity there. And so our example now is this is the Amp Bioresearch Catalyst Calendar, and we went through and we filtered this for phase 3 results just to narrow our search down a little bit, and we came across Zogenix ZX008 treating LGS. Now the funny thing is that this readout actually read out yesterday, but just as an example, we're going to go along with it because I was in the process of putting these slides together last week. So the company Zogenix, if we look at the company size, last week it was around 2 billion, which is under 4 billion. The catalyst landscape, it has this upcoming phase 3 readout this quarter, and the indication is Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, or LGS, which is a severe epilepsy, or rare severe epilepsy. So that's the discovery. So now we move into the analysis of it. So what to look for and where to find it. And just quickly, I wanted to just touch on the fact that each drug has a potential to produce revenue, a certain amount of revenue, and a probability of producing this revenue. And each of these advancements through a clinical trial or other regulatory catalyst event has the possibility to increase or decrease this possibility of producing revenue. And so therefore are major driving factors in the company value overall. So these are the main things to take into consideration: the amount of revenue and probability of producing this revenue, I feel like. So what are things that we look for when we're analyzing these events? When we're looking at prior data, we're looking for efficacy. So we want something that's statistically significant in the results, which has a p-value of less than or equal to 0.05. And the lower the p-value, the more significant the results. So the better the efficacy, the better it works. And we're also looking for a good safety profile. So low or no adverse events, AEs, and hopefully low or no SAEs, serious adverse events. And in press releases, generally the companies will say it was generally well tolerated with no or low AEs and SAEs, but it's always good to look at the actual results and numbers and check for yourself. So where do we look at to find the prior data information? Clinicaltrials.gov is good for finding trial design. It's the database of trials, clinical trials, so it's good for finding trial designs, but they don't update it with data that much. Here at ampbioresearch.com, we have drug profile pages that link to the upcoming Catalyst event info, such as clinicaltrials.gov, as well as link to prior data, such as the company website, which is the next source that you can use, these press releases and some company presentations. But I want to note to be careful of the slight bias that these companies may have when presenting information and not including, the full picture. So it's always good to do your own deep due diligence, which is why we also included publications and posters. You can find these online, published in a scientific journal, or these posters. This gives you a more broad look at the data. And so at Amp Bioresearch, we do link to the company websites and the publications and posters to make it an easy one-stop shop for all of your research. And so what do we look for? We'll call this the analysis checklist. Here we look at trial design. So when looking at prior data, we look at the primary and secondary endpoints in the trial design and how they compare to the primary and secondary endpoints in the upcoming trial. You want to look at the differences and similarities in the prior trial design and the upcoming upcoming trial design deep, at a deeper scale than just primary and secondary endpoints, but that's a good place to start. We want to look for efficacy, so statistical significant efficacy through as many of the endpoints as possible. We want to look at safety, the adverse events. We want to look for low AEs and something that's well tolerated and that has a low dropout rate, so meaning that the patients that started the trial finished it. And we need validity, right? We need to look at more than just the company slide deck, just the data that they're presenting. We want to see the big picture and view everything. So for this example, this is the company or the drug profile page, on our site ampbioresearch.com for Zogenix's ZX008 in LGS. And you can see that it had the phase 3 readout coming this quarter. And we link to the potential catalyst events, so that phase 3 readout for ZX008 treating LGS links to the clinicaltrials.gov trial page, which gives us some insight into the trial design. And then the prior data links, they had a phase 2 study, which is in Epilepsia journal, in the Epilepsia publication. So we use that as like our primary source of information for this research. And so now finally we've discovered Zogenix and their upcoming catalyst. We've analyzed the catalyst. Now it's time to form sort of a thesis from our analysis, right? Finding and creating an investment plan. And so some things I wanted to note before jumping into it are that you can't time the market perfectly, right? There's these unpredictable factors, and so you're never going to be able to enter and exit at the perfect times. And if you do, it's in my opinion, up to luck. And the price targets and stuff of that nature are derived from valuation, which is something that we'll cover later on, which may be a more time-intensive activity. And so for now, in the quick and dirty due diligence, let's just focus on the catalyst events. Think about any risks such as dilution, and these risks and this catalyst event can help define the investment thesis. So the components of the investment thesis, well, the first one is the thesis itself. You want to have a plan, including position size and direction. The second piece is the catalyst info, so your thoughts on the catalyst from the research that you conducted, as well as any risks that you uncovered when doing the analysis. So this prior research into the catalyst and into the risk profile all sort of join together to give you your investment thesis. And so our example here is the post on Zogenix, our analysis on our Amp Bioresearch site in the community forum. You can see the whole post. We went a little bit deeper than just a quick and dirty due diligence, but we have all the factors of the quick and dirty DD here. So this is the final thoughts, which notes that LGS is a large market, and this upcoming phase 3 readout does have inherent risk. So that touches on our analysis of the upcoming readout. And so notice we are bullish on Zogenix and this drug, although we do recognize that there's potential risk in this upcoming readout and that the company has run up pretty far in the past months. So our current position size reflects this, right? So it talks about the upcoming catalyst, some risks, and our current position size and direction. And the weird timing was that, like, right after we posted this in the forum, it actually read out. But nonetheless, as an example, this is sort of an example of how you could create an investment thesis. And obviously, internally, you would want to use percentages for your actual investment size and stuff like that. And so that's that for the quick and dirty due diligence. I wanted to say thanks for tuning in, and hopefully you were able to learn something. I wanted to say thanks from the AMP team, myself, Don Vacchiano, and the AMP founder, Manny Vacchiano. At Amp Bioresearch, we're trying to make tools to help make your analysis and due diligence and overall biotech investing much easier and streamlined. So we have the company and drug profile pages that give you up-to-date pipelines and link to prior data and upcoming Catalyst events. We also have the Catalyst calendar, which is a searchable database of Catalyst events, and then the Amp Bioresearch community forum so that we can all share our analysis, opinions, ideas, and overall make more successful investments in the biotech space, because at the end of the day, we're all trying to see more treatments available for patients and as well as see more successful investors. So with that, I want to say stay green, and hope you guys have a good one.